Welcome. I am the Numinous Thread. The series explores the lore, the mythology, and the ritual woven through the sacred offerings of Sleep Token as mirrors for the soul. It's important to say, the lyrics of Sleep Token are not puzzles with a single answer. If there is a true meaning, it lives within Vessel. But he has not spoken on the matter, instead leaving the space open for us to interpret, to find our own reflections in each offering. What I share here is just one interpretation. Mine. It's not meant to replace yours, but to sit beside it, because it's in the collective texture of our different perspectives that the beauty of this worship really reveals itself. This analysis isn't meant to be academic nor definitive. It's a devotional act, an attempt to unravel a sacred thread between vessel and sleep. We begin, fittingly, with the one EP. 3 songs, 3 rites. So now, let us thread the needle. In an interview with Metal Hammer, Sleep Token said, "He is everywhere, at all times." Vessel encountered sleep in a dream, with promise of glory and magnificence if Vessel followed him. The UK is old. Centuries of lore lay buried here. This land has power, if only you knew how to use it. Bury me inside this labyrinth bed. Now, bury me sounds grim, like a death, but here it feels more like surrender, a ritual surrender. Not an end in the literal sense, more like letting something go, giving it over to the earth. And in esoteric traditions, that's a big deal. Burial becomes transformation through decay. It's the symbolic death of the ego, of the past, of who you were before initiation. And then there's labyrinth bed. That phrase is loaded. A labyrinth isn't a maze. It's not about getting lost. It's about the journey inward, a spiraling path that leads to the center, then back out again. It's meditative, symbolic, a metaphor for turning inward and facing yourself. Ancient cultures, Greek, Egyptian, even early Christian, used labyrinths as metaphors for spiritual trials. You go in confused, maybe even afraid. But if you keep walking, keep facing it, you reach something sacred in the middle. Yourself, the divine, both. Mircea Eliade writes, "Every sacred space implies a hierophany, an eruption of the sacred that results in detaching a territory from the surrounding cosmic milieu and making it qualitatively different. The sacred breaks into the mundane, and suddenly that space is different. It's charged. So yeah, labyrinth bed, it's not just a place, it's the place, the altar, the threshold, where the sacred meets the sensual. Which brings us to the bed part. It sounds physical, right? Tangible. But paired with labyrinth, it becomes something else entirely. The bed isn't just a place for bodies, it becomes a site of transformation, of union, devotee and deity, vessel and sleep. It's a sacred marriage, what some traditions call hieros gamos, when the human and the divine come together, not just metaphorically, but metaphysically. This is where change actually happens. We can feel that time is dilated. And now time starts to bend. So this is cool. Time dilation is a physics term, sure, but here it feels spiritual. Think about how in dreams or in rituals or even during intense emotional moments, time goes weird. A second stretches into forever, or hours disappear. That's sacred time. Illid Tempus, as it's called in myth studies. It's the time outside of time, the once upon a time of every origin story, the time of gods and transformation. So when Vessel says time is dilated, he's not just describing a feeling, he's signaling that we've stepped out of ordinary life. We're somewhere else now, somewhere mythic. We can spend the night in fascination. The night has always been a liminal space, this in-between zone. In ritual, night is when the veil thins. The conscious mind quiets, the subconscious rises. Magic lives here. So to spend the night in fascination, it's like dwelling in that in-between state, between fear and awe. Fascination, in occult terms, is almost hypnotic. It's a trance, a vulnerability, an openness to be changed. And there's this mutuality to it. Vessel is fascinated by sleep, but also he's offering himself in that fascination. It's both devotion and surrender. You can thread the needle, time and time again. This is the heart of it. Threading the needle is such a delicate image, focused, intentional. It's a metaphor for passing through the threshold. The eye of the needle is the liminal point, the portal, and threading it is the act of devotion, of transformation. And he doesn't just do it once. It's not a one and done. Time and time again, this is ritual. Repetition, the reaffirming of faith, of union. Every time he threads that needle, he's reborn, redevoted, remade. You turn the lights down. Come on and find out. This is the invitation, and not just in a sensual way it might sound at first. Darkness in ritual isn't emptiness, it's initiation. It's the start of something sacred. When the lights go down, the outside world starts to fade, and we turn inward. That's when the rational mind finally quiets and the other senses, especially the inner ones, start to stir. Mystics sometimes call it the inner eye or third eye, but it's really just about perception beyond the obvious. And then there's the challenge. Come on and find out. That's crossing a threshold. Sleep is beckoning Vessel deeper into the unknown, into the dark where the real work begins. That's the moment in any initiatory tradition where you can't go back. You step into the sacred, not knowing what you'll find, but knowing you have to go. It reminds me of the old rites of passage, the big ones. Like in Kabbalah, where initiates descend through the shadow realms to reach the light, or in Hermeticism, the phrase, descend into the tomb to rise a god. Yeah, that one hits. There's always this moment of darkness before revelation, before anything divine can show up. The self has to get out of the way. Something to confide in, something to erase. Now this line, it's vulnerable. Sleep becomes the one Vessel confesses to. Not just in the romantic sense, but on a soul level. To confide in someone is to hand over your truth, your messiness, your shame, your secrets. And to erase, that's purification. Like all the old masks we cling to, versions of ourselves that no longer serve, just stripped away. That's ego death right there, which is a core step in mystical traditions. Gnostics talked about it, Sufis, Kabbalists. You have to be undone before you can be filled with something divine. Just look at where we're lying. An invisible space. This line gives me chills every time. Because this is sacred space, but not in the temple with candles kind of way. It's like a crack in the everyday world where the divine breaks through, and it can happen anywhere. A forest, a bedroom, a heartbeat. It's not about location, it's about presence, intention. So an invisible space is that in between. It's the altar hidden in plain sight, the place where vessel and sleep come together beyond the physical. And it's secret. It's not meant for outsiders. It's not something you can point at, but you feel it. And here's the thing, this space doesn't just host the sacred, it becomes it. Vessel isn't just lying with sleep, he's being transformed. He's becoming sacred through the union. And that's kind of what this whole song is. Thread the Needle is a ritual. It's a hymn. It's a devotion wrapped in melody. Sleep is both the priest and the god. Vessel is both the initiate and the altar. It's like the lyrics themselves are the script. Every line, every repetition is another step into becoming. And when you take a step back, what we're watching here is almost mythic. A reenactment of origin, of surrender, of communion. That veil between the sacred and the mundane, it gets lifted just for a moment. And we get a glimpse of what it means to give yourself over, to be changed by love that's terrifying and holy, to be seen and remade. The mystery doesn't need to explain itself. It's within you, and it only asks you to come a little closer and find out.